Hey everybody, Jordan here. So I'm a big fan of scary movies and the horror genre. Like, I love stupid slasher movies to complex whodunit stories. I love all decades. My favorites tend to be in the 80s and 90s for some reason. Maybe the gore is just different then. Shows, I love Tales of the Crypt. I'll even watch old Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes. But one of my favorite movie franchises when it comes to horror is the Scream franchise. It's actually probably one of my favorite franchises just in general. So when I heard that they were going to do a Scream TV show, I was skeptical. First of all, how can you do it without Cindy and the gang? That just, it made me really worried. I wanted a Scream 5 and 6, not a TV show. But you know what? They're doing it, and they're doing it pretty damn good. The first 5 minutes told me that this was Scream. For all of you out there trying to watch the show, look for clues about who could be the killer, I've got some rules for you that you should know, taken from all the Scream movies that I've watched many, many times. Rule number 1, we should not say killer. We should rather be saying killers. You see, in 3 of the 4 Scream movies, there's more than one killer. So do not trust anyone who happens to be on the phone, or watching, or somewhere else as someone's being killed. You can't trust that, because they've done it in the movies, and they'll probably do it in the show. There's probably more than one killer. Rule number 2, it's not the guy that was shot a long time ago with the deformed face. It's not him. Scream operates in the realm of pseudo-reality. Like, slasher films don't happen in real life, but if they were, it would be Scream. It's a homage to the horror genre, well, the slasher genre itself. It does not get supernatural, though. It doesn't get weird. It doesn't get Jason or Michael Myers. It doesn't get... It's just not that. The only movie where they invoke that kind of a feel is number 3, because the trilogy, number 3, you need some supernatural thing. But all that supernaturalness that you see through that movie is all smoke and mirrors. Bet on it being maybe a family member, someone who's somehow tied to it. Because obviously they're bringing up the past, so it's important. Just like in number 3 where they invoked supernatural and that kind of stuff, they invoked the past and details of the past. So it's someone connected that no one has been looking at. Rule number 3, a protagonist can be the killer. There are multiple protagonists. The main one is probably not it. But, as we have seen in the Scream movies, just because someone is a main character doesn't mean they get off the hook. And when I say main character, I mean one of the main characters. Rule number 4. If they're trying to make you obviously think that someone is the killer, believe it, don't believe it, it doesn't really matter. The movies bounce all around it. The movies have a knack for saying, hey, look at this trope, look at this person, it's going to be this person. And then turns out it's not that person. But they've also been like, oh, this person, it's so obvious. And you think, oh, it's not going to be that person because that's too obvious. And guess what? It is that person. Personally, it's too early for me to be telling who the killer is. It may be the sheriff. And it may be those 2 guys. Not both of those guys, but one of them. And either one of them could be the killer. They're not working together on killing people, but one of them could be involved. It could also be Brooke's dad. And when all this is said and done, it could be someone that no one even guessed. That no one even knew. Or it could be a minor character who's just there in the background, like in number 2. Anyway, those are some rules to keep in mind when watching this show. But I do advise everyone out there to watch it. Because if you're a fan of the movies, you'll be a fan of the show. Some of the acting's a little dry, but it gets there. It gets there, and it gets better with each episode. And as I said, it's Scream through and through. And do you have any other rules? Any other rules that you have seen through the Scream movies? Let me know. Maybe I missed some. And maybe they might help me when trying to figure out who the killer is. Oh, and before you go, if you want to subscribe, please do. Please like the video. If you have friends who like Scream or horror, share it with them. You can also click right here to hear some music of mine. And if you like Legend of Zelda, right there.